All right, in this video, I'm going to walk through how we helped Lime Micromobility generate 20 enterprise meetings for their advertising solutions offer. So you guys probably already know Lime. Lime is a huge micromobility and transportation company focused on providing short-term rentals for their scooters. They provide affordable and carbon-free transportation. They operate across, like 30 countries, 280 cities. You guys probably know they're already pretty big. They wanted a new B2B side of their business, which we provided for them. So you guys already probably know that Lime is a very B2C focused kind of business where they focus a lot on the user base and making sure that they're onboarding more and more users like you and I. They want to grow their user base. They wanted a new B2B side of their business. They wanted a side of their business where they can generate revenue on the B2B side, working with advertisers maybe, or working with cities, whatever that may be. And they agreed to work with us to help them craft their new B2B offer and also drive traffic towards it. Now, in terms of the strategy, this was a little different, to be honest. It wasn't like every other client. We basically had to come in and propose a new offer, the moving billboard offer. We proposed some ideas where they can earn revenue as a B2B segment in their business. So we concluded that the following two offers would be best given the current situation. So we recommended an ad space offer, which is basically the moving billboard offer. Basically, brands, big restaurants or big telecommunication companies, for example, they can use Lime, the scooters themselves, as advertising space as an alternative to the billboard. So instead of putting your logo on a big billboard, on a building, whatever, you can put it on something that's moving, like a moving scooter, basically. And then we also offered another alternative offer, which is scooter mobility for real estate developers. So we're reaching out to developers who own residential communities, basically suggesting that, okay, we can give you these scooters where you can basically put it in your residential communities so you can get access to Lime transport, basically, as a resident. So two different offers. So we basically made use of a free trial here, which I will talk about now. Understanding your leverage is actually very important in determining how likely someone is to respond to your offer. So we noticed that Lime already has a very big brand, and we already had that kind of feeling where people would respond a lot to the offer because of how much credibility Lime already has. So this is what we call leverage, basically how much power, status, and perceived authority do you hold in a given situation. So for example, if Alex Hormozy was to offer business consulting, for example, or business coaching, and he would charge you $30,000 an hour, he does not need to give you 30 PowerPoint slide, he doesn't need to give you a 30 slide PowerPoint pitch to convince you why he is a good consultant, because his credibility and social proof outweighs the perceived risk of not getting any results, added revenue to the business. So basically, in simple words, even if I paid Hormozy $30K an hour and he did not guarantee a boost in my revenue, that is still okay because the risk is very low. I trust him. It's like going to a doctor. The risk is very low when you're going to pay a doctor because he has the degrees, he's done this for a long time, he's experienced, etc. That's what we did for Lime, right? On top of the fact that they already have one of the most well-known scooter mobility companies globally, we still offered a free trial to test out the product. When you discuss the results below, you'll know why this was so 100% worth it. Now, in terms of the lead list building, we needed to target decision makers who would be interested in the advertising offer itself. So typically, this would be decision makers like CMO, head of marketing, marketing directors. Apollo was honestly our blue ocean here, our best bet in terms of finding these leads. They already had decent coverage in the UAE and Qatar region, and we were able to build a solid list of leads. Now, I have to keep in mind that the total addressable market, the TAM, was quite small. So after verification, we got around 5,500 leads. Regardless, this still allowed us to reach out to a targeted list of leads, allowing for better results. Now, this brings me on to my next point. I know this sounds a bit contradictory, but one of the key factors we found of cold email success is the largeness of the TAM. So usually if the TAM is less than 20,000 people, it makes it more difficult because the sample size is much smaller and hard to scale. However, I know this sounds contradictory, but in this situation, it was an exception because we were targeting a very unsaturated market, which was the UAE and Saudi market. Unsaturated, uncompetitive. When we sent 5,500 emails, or when we reached out to 5,500 contacts, the results were still good, which I will talk about now. In terms of the email copy, we kept it quite simple and clear. So something like, "Hey John, Hope you're well. You've probably seen those green electric scooters in Dubai or Doha where you can easily move around. We can advertise your company in hundreds of those scooters here in Dubai, so you become top of mind anytime someone thinks of company. It's sort of like a moving billboard, except people are not ignoring it since your logo stands out more when parked inside the mall. Lime already works with the Dubai government and took more than 175 million trips across 280 cities this year. We can even do a test campaign for you for free to prove to you that it works. Would you like to meet this week about what a test would look like? So basically, we're coming in with the angle of being clear and not clever and offering that free trial. When we're saying it's sort of like a moving billboard, except people are not ignoring it, people can visualize that, right? If I came here and said, so we are, the number one micromobility company in the world. We can provide you an advertising solution where we can help advertise your company. It sounds very complicated, right? You want to keep things simple. One of the most important factors for cold email copy success is the use of clear, not clever language. Notice how the email does not include any broad, vague, or confusing language. We're being very clear by helping them visualize a moving billboard. Consider this. This is a new advertising channel in the region, so we had to visually describe what the scooter would look like and what impact this would have on their business. By using so that, this means that, therefore this means that. So we're helping them visualize basically. I've personally booked over 300 plus B2B meetings by just sending emails that sound human. It's simpler than you think, but if you just keep it simple and send emails that actually sound clear and human and not complicated, you'll be surprised with the results you can get. So speaking of results, let's talk about the results of the campaign. So we sent around, we reached out to around 5,500 leads. We sent around 8,900 emails. So our response rate was 0.53%. Keep in mind, this was excluding out of office. If we included out of office, it would probably be above 1%. We wanted to be above 1% anyways because of deliverability and stuff like that. But 1% is our benchmark, and at a quick glance, it seems like we're above that. In terms of our positive reply rate, pretty solid, 58%. We want this KPI to be at least 30%. Our call booking rate is 46%. Our target KPI is 30%, but we're getting 46%. And our email to meeting ratio is 684, so above our KPI of 1200. We want that if we're gonna reach out to these people, we want to be getting a meeting for every 1200 emails. We're getting a meeting for every 600, 700 emails. So that's pretty solid. A large part of the reason why we were able to do this is the offer. We were basically coming in and saying, hey, we can offer a free trial. We can help you offer a free trial so you can test out the product and all of these things, which entice people to respond and book a meeting. So in terms of campaign, it was above KPI, and basically this is the client's reaction when we booked them the meetings. He's just talking about, this is brilliant and stuff like that. Now, if you want to implement a predictable email outbound system for your business, your go-to-market team, or your sales team, let's talk. I do have my booking link at the bottom of this page. But apart from that, hope this video is valuable and have a great day.